Hello everyone, today we are going to make this oh so gorgeous mandala. The materials you'll need are a little metal or a bamboo ring. This one is 25 centimeters wide. You'll need your yarn. I've got a cotton acrylic blend here. It's an 8-ply and a corresponding hook. Now, often people will use a smaller hook than a 4mm when making things like this with cotton, but I'm just using a 4 so it's kind to my hands. Scissors and a darning needle. I just want to give you a few little tips. I used a 4mm hook for this, and to me it's just a little bit loose. It could be tighter. So if you've got a 25mm hoop and you're using an 8-ply yarn, I would suggest that you go either to a 3.75 or even a 3.5mm hook, because I think they're better when they're a little bit tighter, just so they don't sag over time. They seem to go all right hanging on the wall, but you know, I want it to be just right. And I also used a solid 1.5 balls of this 50-gram cotton acrylic mix. I'm using US terminology for this project, and to start our mandala, I'm going to use a double magic circle. You can use the chain method if you prefer. Pop your yarn end in your left hand. Wrap your yarn twice around 2 fingers. Pull that loop through with your hook, yarning over, and make a chain to secure your magic circle. Round number 1 is going to be 12 double crochets into the magic circle. You can either do your chain 3 as a double crochet to start with, but I'm going to do my stacked single crochets. So I pop my hook into the circle, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops on my hook. Then I pop my hook into the center of that single crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both. And that to me resembles a double crochet because it's a little bit thicker than the standard 3 chains. So now we're going to go around doing 11 more double crochets. Yarning over, popping your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pop your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I've completed 12 double crochets. Now take your hook out of your work, turning it around and grabbing onto this little yarn end. If you tug on that, you will see one of the loops cinch in. Now you need to grab that loop that's cinched in and pull that one out gently so it cinches the other loop in. Now you're left with a loop and a tail. Pull on that tail and your second loop moves into position. Now we can do a slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. So popping your hook into the top of the stitch, yarn over, pull through and pull the left stitch through the right hand one. And there's round number 1. Round number 2 is going to be clusters. I'm going to do a cluster in the top of each stitch and a chain in between. So they're going to be 3 double crochets together. Now we've slip stitched into the top of that first stitch, and I am able to use that first stitch because it's just there. I don't need to slip stitch across to the second. So I'm going to begin with another single crochet and chain 1. I'll show you this one. Pop your hook into your stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm not going to make a chunky stacked single this time. I'm just going to do 1 chain. Okay, you can utilize that all the time if you prefer. Now I'm going to yarn over, pop my hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and leave that loop on my hook. Yarn over, pop my hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I've got 3 loops on my hook. Yarning over, pulling through all 3 loops. Now we're going to yarn over and chain 1. Working into the next stitch now, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and leave those 2 on your hook. Yarn over, pop your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and leaving the loops on your hook. Yarn over, pop your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and now you'll have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all those loops. Yarn over and chain 1. Now I'm going to send you off to go around your whole circle and I'll meet you back at the end. Just take it slow and steady and you'll be okay. Finishing off round number 2. It can always be tricky when you've got this starting stitch here that just doesn't look quite right. So the way to know whether you're doing things correctly is just count up how many clusters you've made. So I have made the 12 clusters, even though there's a bit of a gap here. So I'm going to take my hook over and work under the top of that first stitch we made, which represents a double crochet. Popping my hook in, pull a loop through, pull the left loop through the right loop. Now this time we are going to need to slip stitch across this cluster. So just pop your hook in the next space, grab your loop, pull it through. Now pull the left loop through the right loop. And now we're in a really good starting position. Round number 3, you should already have 1 chain started, and that is just perfect because we're going to do a round of single crochets, but we're going to do front post single crochets around these clusters. Now let's pop our hook into the space between the clusters, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Another one of those single crochets. Now pop your hook behind the cluster, yarn over, pull that yarn through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now we'll just do 2 single crochets in between and a front post single crochet. Behind the cluster, pick up a loop, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2. 2 singles, and now we need to do a front post single crochet on our first cluster, and that is our round number 3. It's a little bit puckered, but it'll be okay, trust me. It just needs a little bit of stretching out. Round number 4 is going to be puff stitches and then 3 chains in between. We want to do these puff stitches on top of the cluster stitches. So where we've finished off here is exactly the right point to start. So yarn over and chain 1 just for a bit of elevation. Now yarn over, pop your hook into that space, pull up a loop, yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, and one more time, yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all of those loops, yarn over and make a chain to secure the top of the puff. Now we're going to chain 3. We're going to work straight over here on top of the front post single crochet around the cluster. Yarn over, pop your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, 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 pull through all those stitches on your hook, yarn over and make a chain to secure. Now make 3 chains, skipping these single crochet, working into the top of this front post single crochet on top of the cluster. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, 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 yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook, yarn over, chain 1, now chain 3. This is how our round number 4 is looking. Slow and steady, work around, and I'll meet you back at the end. At the end of round number 4, count up your puffs to make sure your stitch is right. Do 3 more chains, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the very top of this puff stitch here. Pull a loop through and pull the left loop through the right loop on your hook. Give your little work a stretch out. Round 5 is going to be 4 half double crochets around the chain and 1 front post half double crochet around the puff. So pop your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 for your single crochet, yarn over, pull through 1 as your chain. That's my starting half double crochet. You can either use your 2 chain start or your stacked single crochets. I like to use this one as my half double crochet. Now we'll do 3 more. So yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, now take your hook around the back of that puff stitch, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Alright, now you've done a front post half double crochet. Now we're going to do 4 more half double crochets around the chain and a front post half double crochet around the puff. Work your way around doing this and I'll meet you at the end. Round number 6 is going to comprise of double crochet V stitches with a chain in between. We're going to work into every 3rd stitch from the row below. Now we're at a good starting point here directly above the puff, so you can either use a chain 3, a stacked single crochet, or a single crochet and a chain as your starting double crochet. Pop your hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going in for a stacked single crochet, so hook in the center of the single crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's my beginning double crochet. Chain 1, yarn over, and now make a normal double crochet. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chaining 1. Now let's skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2. And we'll do a V stitch in the 3rd. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 1, double crochet back into that same position. So yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over and chain 1. Skipping 2, working into the 3rd with a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, yarn, working into the 3rd with a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet and chain. And there we have our V's starting to work up nicely. These are pretty easy, so I'm going to leave you here to work around and I'll meet you back at the end. We're at the end of our row and you need to skip 2 and work into the 3rd. And you think to yourself, that just looks too close to our starting stitch. And it is, because when we come up from the row below and we begin to make our starting double crochet, it always has this chain stitch, which is further out than where you actually begin your double crochet. So we're just going to have to ignore that. Skip 2 and work into the 3rd. Even though it is just a little bit close, it's still correct. So chaining 1. Now we're going to pop a slip stitch into the top of that starting double crochet. Pull a loop through, pull that loop through the one on your hook. And there you have 20 V stitches, each with a chain in between. Round number 7 is just going to be single crochets. So we can start exactly where we are. Pop your hook into that same space where you did your slip stitch. Pop it in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to work into the top of the double crochet, the chain 1, the double crochet, the chain 1. Alright, so just doing single crochets into the top of every double crochet and around every chain. The end of row 7 looks like this, and we can slip stitch into our starting single crochet. So take a good look. Take a look at the single crochet that's over the chain, then work your way back to figure out exactly where that stitch is, the single crochet that's over the top of that double crochet. Pop your hook under the top of that stitch, yarn over, pull a loop through the one on your hook. And now we've completed round number 7. Round number 8 is going to be comprised of 2 clusters with a chain 2 in between, situated over the top of each of the V-stitch. You can see here where I've had a little play. So we can start right where we are. Pop your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So I've done stacked single crochets. Now we yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and leave. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through all the loops on the hook. Yarn over, chain 1 and chain 2. Now we're going to do another cluster in that same spot. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. Now you're going to chain 1. We're going to skip 1, 2, 3 and work in the 4th stitch. So now we're going to do another double cluster. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and hold. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and hold. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all those loops. Chain 1, chain 2. Now make another cluster in that same space. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and hold. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and hold. Yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and hold. Yarn over, pull through all the loops. Yarn over and chain 1. Here we go. I think that's looking so pretty. I've just finished my very last cluster of round number 8. And I'm now going to slip stitch into the top of the first cluster that we made. So pop your hook in, yarn over, pull a loop through, pull the left through the right. Now we're going to slip stitch over to the center of these 2 clusters. So pop your hook in, yarn over, pull through, pull the left one through the right. And now we're at a really good starting position for the next round. Let's darn in this yarn end here. I don't know why it's taken me so long, but it's bothering me. So let's do it. I just work through the stitches on the first round. 1, 2, trying to break some of the threads as I go. That's number 3 and 4. Then I turn around and go back for a few. I mean, a mandala isn't going to be used like a blanket, so it's not likely to come undone. But I'll just show you what I do. Snip that off. I've got some blunt scissors happening there, and that's a whole lot better. Righto, I'm going to go and make a cuppa and I'll come back and see you soon. Round number 9 is just going to be single crochets again. So we'll do 2 single crochets in that chain 2 space, and then we'll do a front post single crochet around the cluster. So we're positioned nicely to start in this center. Pop your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 for a single crochet. Hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to work behind that cluster, pick up a loop, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet around the chain between the clusters. Then we're back to the front post single crochet, 2 single crochets and a front post single crochet, 1 single crochet in between. I'm just wanting to do this to accentuate these little clusters, and I think that looks a whole lot better. I mean, it's really cute as it is, but that really tops it off. So let's go around and I'll meet you at the end of the row. I'm near to the end of round number 9. I've just done a single crochet in that chain 1 in between the clusters. Now I need to do a front post single crochet around our first cluster because we started in the chain 2 space. Yarn over and pull through 2. At the end of round 9, all we need to do is slip stitch into our very first single crochet that we made. Pull a loop through, pull the left loop through the right loop on your hook. And there you've got finished round number 9. Now row number 10 is going to be made of double crochets and popcorns. So we can start exactly where we are with a starting double crochet, popping your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 to make a single crochet, and I'm just going to do a chain 1 this time. The next stitch we need to do is a popcorn because we're going to do the popcorn in the center of these 2 clusters. So we're going to do 5 double crochets into that single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Pulling your hook out, counting back to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, popping your hook into the top of that first double crochet, pop your loop back on your hook and tighten. Now pull the left hand loop through the right one, yarn over, chain 1, yarn over and do a double crochet into the very next single crochet below. Now keep going. That's 2, 3 and 4 double crochets, and you're going to work the popcorn into the 5th. So 5 double crochets, 2, 3, 4 and 5, pulling your hook out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hook into the top of the first double crochet, pop the loop back on your hook and tighten, pull the left one through the right, yarn over, chain 1, yarn over, make a double crochet into the next single crochet for 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now make a popcorn. So 5 double crochets into this 1 single crochet stitch, 3, 4 and 5, pulling your loop up and pulling your hook out. Count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pick up the loop at the top and your last loop, pull the left one through the right. Now we continue on with the double crochets, 2, 3 and 4. All right, this is what we've got. Isn't that cute? I'm really loving it. I am going to sit down and put my legs up while I do the rest of this round. Then I'll meet you back here at the end. I'm nearly to the end of round number 10. And I've just got one more double crochet to do because we know we need 4. We've got 1, 2 and 3. So just work into the next little space, even though it will have a tiny little stitch that comes from the first double crochet that we made. Now we need to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet. And there we are done. Well done, guys. This is looking really, really gorgeous. I'm so happy with it, and I hope that you are too. Round number 11 is going to be single crochet, chain 2, skip 1. Single crochet, chain 2, skip 1. All right, we can start right into the top of the popcorn. So hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 2, skip 1. Single crochet, chain 2, skip 1. Single crochet, chain 2, skip 1. Single crochet, chain 2, skip 1. Now we're back to the start, and all we need to do is a slip stitch into that single crochet that we began with. Now we can work straight away into this first chain space. We're going to do 3 single crochets in each chain space. So that's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip the single crochet and just keep doing single crochets around that chain. 1, 2, and 3. Single crochets are done. We just need to slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made. Now, round number 13. We're going to chain 1 just to give us a little bit of space so we can get our hook around the back. We're going to do back post single crochets around every single crochet that we just made. So popping your hook from the back to the front, over the top of the single crochet and out the back again. Yarn over, pull that loop through. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Now again, taking your hook from the back to the front, across the front and through to the back again, pulling that loop through, yarn over, pull through 2. Hook goes from back to front, across the front and through to the back again, pick up a loop, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2. Hook in, across, pick up a loop, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, now we're doing this sweet little round because it gives the same effect as crocheting a surface stitch would. You get to have this little chain look up on the top, and it's a really nice framing when you're finishing off your work. All right, this one will take a little bit more time and concentration. Just work 1 stitch at a time, and I'll meet you back here at the end. Then we're up to attaching our mandala to our hoop. At the end of round 13, all you have to do is do a slip stitch into that first single crochet that was made. Now we are up to attaching our mandala to our hoop. There's 3 options. I'm going to show you them all. Option 1 is sewing your work to your hoop using your darning needle and your yarn. Basically just stitching the mandala around the hoop. Simple as that. But for this technique, you really want to be wanting this effect because it doesn't hide the hoop. So if you don't mind, if your hoop is out to be seen, this could be one of the ones for you. Okay, so that's the sort of effect that you get. Option number 2 is crocheting a single crochet and chains. single crochet and chains. Okay, so you've got that round as your last round. Then you take your yarn and you're basically going to do a single crochet around your hoop and into that chain space. Let's see if we can firm that up a bit. Again, you would use this one if you wanted to achieve a certain effect. You skip the single crochet and just go over to the next chain space. Okay. And that's how it would look. The technique I'm going to use is by laying the hoop over the top of your work so that your yarn is at the back of your hoop, because I'm going to single crochet my stitches to the hoop. I don't want my hoop to be seen. So popping your hook in, pulling up your yarn over and pull through 2. Now we get on a roll. Hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And you just keep going around like this. It's actually quite awkward and is easier to do if you can get comfortably seated and pick it up and be able to hold on to it with both hands. Okay? Now this is the effect that we're after. And it also allows me to have some stitches to work into to do a pretty edging. Let's join our mandala to our hoop and then we'll come back and finish off with our edge. Now when you've finished attaching your mandala to the hoop, we just need to do a slip stitch into that first single crochet we did, and then we're going to give our hoop a little loop to hang it on. So we then just do a chain for as long or as short as you would like. When you've finished making your chain for our hanging loop, turn your work over, come down and do a slip stitch into the back of the first chain that was made. That way it looks nice and neat. And let me show you. There we go. Now we've got a little loop to use for hanging. Next up is the edging. I'm going to pop a single crochet in the first stitch of the row below. Chain 2, skip 2 and pop a single crochet in the next. Chain 2, skip 2, single crochet. This is really quite awkward. Chain 2, skip 2, single crochet. Now that I'm at the end of this round, I'm going to skip 2, so that means I need to single crochet into the stitch that's under the loop. Pull that through. I'm going to go around the back of my loop and I'm going to chain 1 so I can make my way across to the very first little chain space. Now in the first chain space, I'm going to pop a slip stitch. Hook in, pull up a loop, pull the left through the right. Now we're going to do 8 double crochets into the second space. Doing it the best you can. It is a little bit awkward. So yarn over, hook through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. and again. I actually find it easier to do this edging if I'm sitting in a chair and I can rest the hoop on my thighs as opposed to having it laying down here, but that's okay. I need to show you what to do, don't I? See that knot? I don't get too upset about knots because what I do is just make sure that they are facing back. So when I'm finished that, actually I could do it now, I try to flick them through to the back so they can't be seen. How many have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And just back to the knots, I just left this one because it's a mandala, but if it was a blanket or a wearable, I would actually snip it and do my, what's my knot called? Is it the Russian knot? I don't even know. But it's the knot I do that doesn't come undone. All right, let's keep going. Slip stitch into the next. Hook in, pull up a loop, pull the left through the right. Yarn over. Now we're going to do another shell with 8 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 7, and 1 more. That's 8. Now I'm going to do a slip stitch into the next little chain space. And then we'll have a little look at this. There we go. Okay, it's just a fairly plain and standard edging that people often use. Tried other things and they didn't look very good at all. So a shell stitch it is. Now off you go, working slow and steady around your mandala, and I'll meet you back towards the end. I've finished this round with a shell and it kind of sits behind the hanging loop. So what I'm going to do is snip that off and darn it in down here where I made the very first single crochet. All right, so popping it into there so it sits neatly behind. Snip that off, turn our work over, and there we are. Thank you so much for joining me in making the Melaleuca Mandala. I'm so happy with it and I hope that you are too. I will see you again soon. Take lots of care and happy crocheting until then. Bye for now.